Well, I like Obama's foreign policy a lot. Obviously, it's very broad because there's a lot of countries to talk about, but I'll concentrate on the important ones, the specific ones that we're dealing with now, which is basically the Middle East. First, he said, look, we need to concentrate on actually getting Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda rather than having all our forces in Muslim countries that have nothing to do with them. In fact, that we're fighting. He's 100% right on. And I am an American, and I hate what happened on 9/11, and I want to go get the son of a bitch, okay? And so, as long as he's sitting out there, he killed 3,000 Americans, okay? And Bush is an utter failure for not getting him. He's a loser and a failure. And what drives me crazy about the Democrats is that they never play hardball, okay? If I was a Democratic politician, and I'm not, but if I was, for 7 straight years, I'd have been like, George Bush is a loser. He couldn't even get Osama bin Laden, okay? What a total failure, right? So, I love that Obama says, not like McCain does. McCain, God. 2 things McCain said. McCain said, I'll follow him to the gates of hell. Look, I just need you to follow him to Pakistan, okay? So, and second thing he said, I know how to get him. Well, then why didn't you go get him? What's stopping you, right? What, are you keeping it a secret? Are you holding it as like ransom over our head until we elect your president? He doesn't know how to get him. It's a lot of BS, right? What Obama said is, look, we need to put more pressure on the Pakistani government. And one of the real ways that you put pressure on the Pakistani government is, hey, listen, if you don't give us permission, we're going to hit Al-Qaeda anyway. Okay? And at the time, McCain and the Republicans said, oh, what a rookie, what a naive guy, he doesn't know foreign policy at all. And then they turned around and they're like, that's a good idea, right? I'm like, yeah, let's do that. and they did. And they started bombing Pakistan without their permission. Okay? Now that's a tricky issue, but it was the right thing to do, and I said at the time it's the right thing to do. Why? Because as soon as they started bombing Pakistan, Pakistan said, that's outrageous, how can you do that? We're a sovereign country. Okay, we'll get it. Good. Okay? We want them to go get it. Right? So I think he's definitely right about Afghanistan and Pakistan. He wants to transition out of Iraq. Obviously, we have to transition out of Iraq. It's not going to happen overnight. We've got a lot of troops there. We got to do it smart. We got to do it careful. But we got to get out of there because it's costing us a tremendous amount of money, and it doesn't make any sense. You know, my dad goes crazy over our position in Iraq. It's like we could be there 1,000 years, and the Sunnis would still fight the Shiites, and the Kurds would still want Kirkuk. I mean, these dummies now, they think, oh, they'll all get together and they'll share Kirkuk. If Sarah Palin even knows what Kirkuk is. Right? I mean, look, think about Sarah Palin for a second. I'm going to divert for 1 second. She's in an interview with Katie Couric. Katie Couric says, you know, you were pushing for democracy in the Bush administration and the Republicans were, and you say you're in favor of it, but you had democracy in the Gaza Strip and Hamas won. So how do you reconcile? That's a very good question. It's a tough question, but a very good question, and a very important question. She had no idea who Hamas was. She started talking about Iran. And Kirk said, wait a minute, I asked about Palestinian areas, what are you talking about Iran for? She has no idea who Hamas is. She's running for vice president, and the guy she's running with is 72 years old and has had cancer 4 times. Okay? How could you not know who Hamas is? It's inconceivable to vote for the Republicans at this point in time. Okay? So they're off the deep end. But I think Obama has a smart policy in terms of all that. Look, he's in favor of a 2-state solution, Palestine and Israel, and they got to make peace at some point. And Israel has to bend on the settlements, and the Palestinians have to bend on the right of return. Every position I've studied of Obama's in foreign policy, I thought is exactly on the mark. In Russia and Georgia, you know, again, John McCain flies off the handle and says, we're all Georgians now, and how dare Russia? What are you going to do? Go to war with Russia? Come on. That's crazy. And you know who fired first? The Georgians did. Okay, now I'm on the side of the Georgians. I don't want Russia to have more and more power throughout the world, but the Georgians did fire first. Henry Kissinger even said, yeah, they fired first. So you can't just rush in there and go, okay, we're all Georgians. And Sarah Palin said, oh, if they join NATO, that we defend them and go to war with Russia. We're not going to go to war with Russia. It's madness, right? So on just about every area you can name, I think Obama nails it. In foreign policy. In some things I disagree with him. Like, I think his tax cuts are too much, honestly. in domestic policy. Like he's going to give everybody under 250,000 a tax cut. Well, we got a crazy deficit. I wouldn't do that. But we will give the rich even a bigger tax cut. So, you know, but on foreign policy, I think it's an A+.
Every American, either I'm asked in Turkey or America, told me that don't trust American people if you are having a presidential campaign. Until the election time, they support you, they back you up, but election day, they switch their side. That was like George Bush.
Yeah.
So what about for Obama?
Are you saying the voting, or are you saying okay? Because there's two different things there. As far as the voting is concerned, I mean that's why everybody has to go and vote in 3 days. Because if it's a close election, Republicans can steal it. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, if you notice over the last 8 years, every single close election except one, the governor of the state of Washington, it was a very close election in the Democrat one. Okay, except for that one election, every single close election has gone to the Republicans. Now you look at that and you go, as a statistician, you go, that doesn't quite make sense. You can't, it's too much of a coincidence, right? Why is that? Because, I mean, I can give you a whole other night on this, but there's about 8 or 10 things that the Republican Party does to cheat on the margins. And now Democrats used to cheat in the past, like JFK, according to the historians, clearly cheated in Chicago, which helped them to win Illinois, etc., right? So how do they cheat? They don't just go fix the machines, although that's possible, but they will put less voting machines in a Democratic area. Like a college is a Democratic area, urban areas, cities are Democratic areas. They'll put less voting machines. And the Republican areas will put more voting machines. So the Republicans go vote right away, they go to work, they're fine. Democrats wait online for 3-4 hours until they get discouraged. And then they go home or they gotta go to work, right? So then you just had 10 people that voted less Democratic in that area. 10 here, 100 here, 2,000 there. Okay, they do this thing where if you, I'll give you one more example, like I said, there's about 10 of these. Every once in a while they have to clean up the voter rolls, they call it purging, okay? So because it's a good thing, because if people die or they move out of the state, you should take them off your list of people who can vote, right? Except the Republicans go there 90 days before an election, which you're not supposed to do, is illegal, right? And they say, oh yeah, all these people living in a Democratic area, we sent them a notice and they didn't respond immediately, so we're taking all their names off the campaign. Okay, and if you have a Republican Secretary of State, as there was in Florida in 2000, and as there was in Ohio in 2004, you can do all those tricks. You can do 12 of them, and then that's going to give you a little bit of an advantage. It doesn't mean if the election's going to win, you're going to win it by 20 points, you're going to win it anyway, right? But it'll give you a 1, 2, 3 point advantage maximum. Now the good news this time around is that Obama doesn't have a 2 or 3 point advantage. He has about a 6 point advantage, 6, 7 point advantage. And they can't cheat that much, okay? Unless they go into the machines. That's a whole other story, that's a whole night, right? But that's why I tell everybody it's not over, it's not over. You have to actually go vote, and you have to win by more than 3 percentage points in order to actually win. And then there's the second part of that, which is the Bradley effect, where people say, oh yeah, I'm gonna vote for the black guy, right? And then they go to the voting booth and they vote for the white guy, right? But I don't think, the studies that I've seen indicates to me that is not as much of a factor. And a friend of mine has a theory, the reverse Bradley effect. In racist areas, they go, oh no, I'm not voting for the black guy. And then they go into the booth and they're like, oh, enough with the Republicans, and they vote for the black guy. So you don't know until the election happens, that's for sure, and that's why everybody has to go vote, but I think it's going to be okay.